The Batman was one of the best films to come out in recent memory. It had everything. It did everything. And today, we are going to talk about it. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? I hope life finds you well. Welcome to Darth Matu's Holocron. I'm Darth Matu. Sorry I've been slow on videos. Life has been crazy. We've been busy getting the Praxeum Inc. started. The Praxeum Incorporated is a nonprofit that is dedicated to celebrating Star Wars legends in a positive way and in putting on the Conclave, which is going to be an annual Star Wars Legends convention. So if you guys are interested in stuff like that, links are in the description below. Before we get going, I just want to let you guys know that we are going to be discussing some spoilers in this video. I'll talk about the movie generally at first, and then I'll shift to talking about specific moments. Spoiler chat starts at the timestamp flashing on the screen right now, and I'll do my best to warn you before I get into it. And with that, let's dive in. The Batman takes place 2 years after Bruce Wayne has begun his career as the Caped Crusader, and Gotham is as bad as ever. One of the things that I noticed right away was how well Matt Reeves, the director, nailed the tone. Gotham feels like Gotham. It's a big, modern city, but the gothic feeling is very much present. Rain drenches most scenes, and buildings shine with gaudy neon against dark stone. The movie is not afraid to play with shadows, and they do an amazing job of showing us just how scary Batman can be. Matt Reeves knows how to use darkness well, and he uses shadows to make the Bat more intimidating, at times legitimately like something out of a horror movie. I was struck by how noir things felt, and my mind immediately leapt to comparisons with the movie Seven. Robert Pattinson is a fantastic Batman. Now, I had extreme doubts about his ability to inhabit the role, both physically and thematically, but I'm very, very happy to say that I was wrong. He is the Batman, both intimidating and dark, yet somehow also sad. He's especially good as Bruce Wayne, which is something that I feel like other Batman actors kind of struggled with. He comes off as intelligent and daring, handsome, and yet wounded and haunted. This is a Bruce Wayne that is still in his early years, and he is consumed by his identity as the Bat. He puts more time into fighting crime than he does anything else, and Pattinson does a really excellent job of conveying his single-minded fanaticism. Zoe Kravitz also does an excellent job. The chemistry between her and Pattinson feels authentic. In fact, everyone in this movie did an absolutely amazing job. The Batman is one of the best acted movies to come out in recent memory. Colin Farrell is completely unrecognizable as the Penguin. If I hadn't known that he was playing that part, I would not have been able to recognize him at all. Paul Dano is truly unsettling as the Riddler. The plot is just incredibly well written. It relies heavily on detective work, which is a classic Batman theme. There are action set pieces, and they are good, but the narrative is driven primarily by the mystery. It feels really amazing to see Batman actually engage in detective work on screen. That is something that the other movies in the past also struggled with. Jeffrey Wright is an excellent Jim Gordon. He's still a lieutenant when the movie begins, a rising star in the Gotham Police Department. Gordon and Batman's relationship almost has a buddy cop feel at points, with the two of them much more willing to work directly side by side than in other Batman films. And with that, I'm going to start talking about specifics. If you don't want spoilers, cut away now. This movie is fantastic and well worth seeing in the theater. Go check it out. It is the perfect movie to head back to the theater to enjoy after this long COVID absence. And if you go soon, the theater will likely still be mostly empty, like it was for me. Okay, go away now. Time to talk about certain moments. Okay, are they gone? Alright. The narrative itself is incredibly complex, and it weaves its way from the heights of Gotham's towers down deep into its literal underbelly. The story itself has everything. It has action, mystery, stakeouts, tales, rain-drenched alleyways, Gotham socialite affairs. We get to see a wide range of Bruce, both in the cowl and out of it, and the story does an amazing job of keeping you guessing. It spends a large amount of time casting doubt onto Thomas Wayne, Batman's father, integrity. And eventually it resolves this conflict in a way that both humanizes Bruce, Alfred, and his parents, clearing Thomas Wayne's name without necessarily absolving him of all responsibility. It's just a fantastically complex and nuanced look at life. The relationship between Alfred, played by Andy Serkis, and Bruce is truly fantastic. Serkis does a really amazing job of showing us just how much Alfred worries about Bruce, and how he feels responsible for him. Pattinson, in turn, does a great job of showing us a Bruce who begins to realize just how important a figure Alfred has been in his life. The two have a very poignant moment when Alfred is in the hospital, clinging to life after being caught in a mail bomb that was meant for Bruce. And it's just something that you don't see as much as you would like in Batman movies. Paul Dano chews up all of his scenes as the Riddler. He does a truly brilliant job of showing us a dangerously disturbed, yet highly intelligent individual. The scene where him and Batman finally have a face-to-face after the Riddler has been caught is brilliant. The story does a fantastic job of making it a question about whether or not the Riddler has deduced Batman's identity, slowly unveiling a deep obsession that even Bruce finds unsettling. This comes to a head when they finally confront one another, with the Riddler implying that he knows who Bruce is. But in the end, Matt Reeves does a good job of keeping this question ambiguous, where it could really go either way. I think truly the answer to this question is going to be explored in the sequel, which they do set up later on. The third act twist was really great. The Riddler succeeds in most of his plans, and this makes for a very refreshing change. Villains are very too often made impotent, especially these days, and Paul Dano feels not only competent, but truly dangerous. The final crux of his plan is to set off bombs, destroying the seawall in Gotham Harbor, forcing citizens to the stadium for shelter where he can kill them all in one place. He actually succeeds in destroying the seawall, a moment which is truly powerful because Batman is just a little bit too slow to deduce the actual plan, and we have to watch him scramble to respond. There is a very high action set piece at the end where Batman's heroics make up for his inability to deduce Riddler's ultimate goal, and he manages to defeat the Riddler's henchmen and rescue the people trapped in the stadium. The imagery during the finale is exquisite, with light and darkness again used to amazing effect. The final crowning moment of the story has Batman helping with disaster relief, and realizing that he needs to be more than simply vengeance, that his single-minded crusade to defeat crime, in fact, only made things worse. He needs to accept that there's more to do for the city, both as Batman and as Bruce Wayne, and that he needs to find some way to become a symbol of hope and not just of fear. If I absolutely had to pick one area to critique, it would be the action. The action was good, but I would have preferred a Batman that was just a bit more brutal. Robert Pattinson is not the most physical person, though he does inhabit the bat suit very well. It just comes across in the choreography a bit. You can tell that Matt Reeves did his best to make up for the shortcomings in the choreography with CGI, and the dark visual tone of the movie helps this animation blend in much better. It doesn't look awful. So overall, the action was good. This is simply the weakest area of the film. If I absolutely, with a gun to my head, had to choose something to improve on, this would be it. That said though, The Batman was an incredible movie overall. It's the best movie that I've seen in a very long time. I think that this is the best Batman movie ever made. Even better than The Dark Knight, even better than some of the classic ones. I think that Robert Pattinson is the best Batman that we have seen on screen yet, able to convey both Bruce Wayne and Batman with equal finesse. It is the first Batman movie that I've seen that I feel truly captures the comics from top to bottom. Every aspect of this film drips with love for the setting and the narrative themes that are so famous to Batman stories. I give this movie a 9 out of 10, maybe a 9.5 out of 10, and I recommend that all of you go see it in theaters. It is very much worth it. Alright guys, that's all I got for you today. If you liked this video, please leave a like, subscribe. Everybody stay safe out there, stay well, and may the Force break your chains.